take you back 1 second to the first slide, because the picture here is actually my best friend wearing our first product, and it kind of sets up most of the story because it shows you exactly how small FinalBend was to begin with. There was a high chance back in 2018, if you were friends with me at all, that you'd be like roped into one of these pictures, because it was just like a community thing. So in 2018, when it all began, this was pre-COVID and also pre-leaving cert for me. So I was a fifth year student, and at this point I was also competing pretty regularly. In the spare time that I wasn't in school or competing, I found myself obsessed with e-commerce YouTubers. This was, so 2018, I was 17. E-commerce YouTubers were like forefront of my life. This was something that I was inspiring to be. I was like, e-commerce seems like so attainable to me, being 17 and with a laptop. I felt like I could definitely like start an e-com business, because they were showing me exactly how I needed to do it by literally just posting videos of themselves doing it. So that's kind of the basis. I was competing, I was doing this in my spare time, and I was in school, but that's quite a minor part of the story. And then the catalyst for FinalBend came when I had been competing, and then I had a lot of free time. So I got injured, and all of that time that I'd spent competing, all of this kind of like dedication that I had kind of needed a new source, because I was the type of person to always have to be doing something. Not doing anything like was not an option. So kind of combining the interest I had anyway in business with my obvious interest in athletics. I was a pole vaulter also, if you don't know. So my athletics interest, my interest in starting an e-com brand, and then having this time all came together. And in 2018, towards the end of the year, when I still had time, I started FinalBend. The name for FinalBend came from the last turn in the athletics track. As you can see, this is a picture of me competing, well, after a competition. And that was kind of what inspired me. So I'd noticed that there'd be a gap in the market. And again, put all of this into perspective of a fifth year student learning about business for the first time. So a USP, that's what I was looking for. And I thought I had found one in there not being a niche brand that targeted athletics or athletes. So that's what I was going to fill. And then again, from the fifth year perspective, the next thing that I thought that I needed was a business plan. And then on one like really over enthusiastic evening, I went ahead and I came up with the name, I made the website, and I wrote a 4,000 word business plan all in one evening. And in my mind, that was me starting a business. That was, line under, like, business began. So that was the very over enthusiastic beginnings of FinalBend. But again, just keep in your head that this is back to that first picture on the first slide. That's how small it was. Like, whilst the business was created, it didn't really like exist, if that makes sense. So it was known in very small circles in the athletics community, where if you're a friend of mine at the time, you probably may have heard of it, kind of. You might not have. And that was kind of where it came from. It was so small, like it was tiny. It was the size that your best friends were like your models, and they were also your customers, and they were also like your promoters. So that was the circle. And that circle only grew marginally up until 2020. So the focus of FinalBend had always been in athletics. It was niche to athletics. My friends were athletes. They were also my customers. And the pinnacle for me of having this business came in kind of 2019 and early 2020, before COVID, was being at a Munster Athletics competition and having a store there. So I had a pop-up shop. This was pinnacle. Like, I was like, there's nothing in business that will like peak this. Maybe having one of the All Irelands would have, in my mind, like been better. But that I was like at the top of my game, because to me it was this side project. It wasn't like a full business. It wasn't even my full-time employment. It was literally like something I was doing on the side. So to be able to have this shop at an athletics competition was insane. I was like, I am ticking all the boxes. And that's where it was going. It was going towards maybe doing some club gear, maybe doing a bit of like wholesale tug clubs where I would create their athletics wear that had their name on it, and then I would send it over to them. But it was only like 10 pieces. And then clubs stopped needing gear because they stopped competing because COVID hit. So with COVID ending that kind of stream of revenue into FinalBend, it was kind of a decision like, do I keep this on? Do I let it go? And thankfully I decided, look, I may as well keep it going. But in order to keep it going, like I needed something to do because my mainstream was now gone. The days that I used to make all the sales was definitely gone. Those were on the competitions. So competitions were closed down, so no pop-up. Clubs were closed, so no need for club gear. So in order to keep the business going, I had to kind of find a new way to like market this, to tell other people about it. But I wasn't really in that headspace. I didn't think like I was marketing. I thought I was trying to fill my days because to me, I wanted to work full time at FinalBend. This was the thinking. I was like, I will spend COVID working full time. And bear in mind, we thought COVID at the beginning was only going to take 2 weeks out of our schedule. So I was like, this next 2 weeks, I'm going to work full time. And I realized really quickly, there is not enough work to work full time when you kind of only make like one sale a week. You can't like spend the whole week packing that one order and then send it out. So I had to make work for me. And in order to do that, I realized like I needed to have these wishy-washy tasks. So I kind of started doing all these wishy-washy tasks. I made some presentations that I didn't really send anywhere. I kind of got to emailing people that never really responded. And then the next wishy-washy task was, oh, I could like make videos about what I'm doing. And that was TikTok. So I had spent my whole lockdown like scrolling TikToks. So I was like, oh, I may as well start making these TikToks. And I made my first TikTok in May, I believe. I think it's like on the 9th of May. It could have been before, it could have been March. And it got 9 views. And I was kind of like, okay, this is something. 9 people who didn't know about FinalBend before have seen FinalBend. Until I realized that those 9 people were actually my sister's friends, because my sister had sent my TikTok into her group chat. And I was kind of like, okay, that's still fine. Like, that's still 9 people. And then I realized that there's 15 people in her group chat. So yeah, it wasn't really the big success I thought it was originally, but I kept making them. And on the 12th TikTok that I posted to the FinalBend TikTok page, that video got over 500,000 views overnight. And it's actually the video that's like here that I'm circling with the mouse. So this video got, it's now sitting at like 600,000 views, but overnight it got 500,000 views. And it actually ended up bringing up the view count of the videos that I posted prior. So like they all, even though there was, you know, it started at 9, they were all getting views. So they kind of finished around 200K, like 55K, but this was insane to me. This was like what in the world is going on? And I had like my first taste of a viral buzz, and I can't even explain it. And it's like, I didn't know what was going on. Like my Shopify store did not know what was going on. But essentially it was blowing up, and it wasn't just blowing up on the page because the website was linked in the bio of my TikTok. It was blowing up the website. So that kind of like changed a couple of things. And the first thing that it changed was, first of all, I woke up to 80 sales, and 80 sales for a tiny business is crazy, especially because 80 sales dwarfed the past 3 months sales online. Like, I hadn't done 80 sales probably all year, and now I'd done it overnight. The first thing that came to my mind was, I don't have the infrastructure for this. And by infrastructure, again, small business terms, I mean like I didn't have enough like pieces of paper that I could like cut up to write the addresses on, to stick on the parcels that I bought from Centra at like €1 a parcel. So there was a lot of things that kind of weren't in place for a video to go viral, to blow up the site, to get 80 sales. But it happened, and there was kind of like no stopping it at that stage, because once I'd woke up to 80 sales, the sales actually just kept on increasing. and I couldn't pack them faster than they were coming in at that point. So I brought my mom in the car and we went to Mahon Point, because that's like the obvious thing to do to calm down. We went to Mahon Point and we tried to find packing bags. So if you have an online store, you'd know these as like mailing bags, or if you shop online, you just know them as what your clothes comes in. So I needed to find like 80 of these, and I thought the one place that'll have it, surely somewhere in Mahon Point would have it. It did not, and I ended up going to this kind of small Centra that's in Blackpool that had just like those, they sell them like it's a pack of 6 for like €3. So yeah, it wasn't ideal, but I had to find them, and I also had to find a label printer, because writing out all of these labels by hand was just so time inefficient that it would probably take me 80 days to pack these 80 orders from the night previous. So whilst it was kind of shocking, and it was, you know, it was a madness that I had never expected, it also like filled me with this thrill that I felt like I could really actually grow this if I continued doing what I had been doing. And that kind of leads me on to like what I called duplicating virality, which I know virality isn't a word, but it was kind of the most fitting that I could find for this. So by duplicating virality, I mean, I wanted to do what I had done before again. And it sounds really simple when you say it, because you're like, oh, just make the same video again, except if you do that, people have already seen it and it's no longer got that like kick, which, you know, is the catalyst for a video getting more views or going onto the For You page. So at this point, I really just doubled down on creating a cut, because I figured, well, in order to put together a kind of a, you know, like a database of what performs best, when should I post it, and like what that content that is really viral content look like, I need to have more content, because at that point I still only had the 12 videos and 11 of them were really bad. So I needed to make more content, and with each piece of content I was making, I was trying to like figure out why it went viral, why it got views. If it didn't get views, why was that? So I started to use my business degree, and I was like asking some critical questions of the TikTok content. And it's almost like it juxtaposes itself, because TikTok in itself seems like this really like, you know, like informal platform that should never be associated with business or anything like that. And I was trying to apply a business framework onto it, and apply that onto my videos of like, well, why did that work, or why didn't that work? And I was doing this because I realized straight away that if I posted a video and that video got views, those people were going to click on the website. And this was literally directing like customers that had never even heard of FinalBend, never even knew about FinalBend. They were going straight to the website. And this was my main source of income. And it was also my main channel of finding new customers. As you can see here, this is July. So it was May, June, July. This was all a learning curve, trying to find out what gets people to view a video longer, what gets people to engage, and then what gets people to click back onto the website. So I was trying to figure all of that. And then you see this decline here. And this is when I stopped posting so many videos, because at this point now it was September, college was getting back in. And then it kind of declined still past November into October, when I was like, I really need to get my act together. I posted more videos. So again, the video volume at this stage is going upwards. It reaches its pinnacle for the end of the year. And then I had my exam, so I was posting less, and the web sessions decline again. So in seeing this data and in seeing the sales that were coming through these web sessions, I knew obviously that I needed to figure out what exactly made a TikTok like go viral for me. And this is probably not something that's going to translate exactly to every business, but in 2020, this is exactly what I figured was working. So it was obviously all a zero budget strategy. I've just got that down at the end, but it was a strategy of me trying to figure out how I could organically promote for free and without making it all seem like an ad, because everyone will say like make TikToks, don't make ads. So I was trying to make TikToks, but If they were educational, they usually got some views. If they were inspirational, they usually got some views. And if they were entertaining, they usually got some views. If they were all three, this was the point that the TikTok would go viral. And when I say go viral, like I say that kind of loosely throughout this presentation, but I'm kind of talking about the video would exceed an average view count for my TikTok channel, which depends on like the month. If I'm posting a lot, my average will rise. I might get maybe like 10,000 views average. If I'm not posting a lot, it could be like 5,000 views average. If I'm posting a load, it could be like 20,000 views average. So in order to like break through that and have a video that's viewed 300,000 times, I found that those videos were educational, inspirational, and entertaining, and obviously product focused, because you want them to click onto the website at the end of the day. And that was kind of my strategy until I realized that having a zero budget strategy kind of only gets you so far. Because what was happening was, although new customers would find the website for the first time, they would click on the website and they might enjoy the clothing, but if they didn't like engage further on the website, if there was no email capture, or if there's nothing to cause them to stay, those customers were lost. And although at that point they probably had heard of the brand, that was kind of lost. It was a lost customer in my mind. So in order to scale, then obviously you need a database of people coming into your website that you can collect. And here, analytics are a girl's best friend, because I knew that there was, say 10,000 people coming to the website after a video got 100,000 views. But if no one purchased, then that was just lost. Those customers were lost. So the first thing I did when videos would go viral, I realized I needed to have some form of email capture on the website, so that at least if they didn't purchase, well, I at least had another opportunity to collect their business in the form of having them on an email list. So I was able to kind of put that in, and then you're collecting more data and more customer info. And then finally, when I did realize that there's opportunity here to like plug in into Facebook marketing, I joined Facebook marketing with a database of what exactly my TikTok customer looks like, because on the back end of TikTok, you have the ages, like age ranges, how long people are viewing your videos, where they're from, all of that like really niche info I just hadn't really used it yet. So in order to scale then from there, it was kind of a combination of having an email list, being able to collect a customer even if they didn't purchase, and then knowing who that customer was. So instead of them just being a view or just being like a number on your web sessions, they were now a person that I could kind of like target in the form of a new way to market. So that kind of came in when I started looking at paid ads, but we'll continue on the zero budget strategy. And while most of this has been positive, the negative here on having a zero budget strategy where all of my marketing and all of my customers were coming purely through organic marketing meant that I literally completely left my niche behind. So my niche had been, the athletics or the athlete, the student athlete more specifically, or the person who's kind of doing high performance training on the track, knows what the final bend of a track is and looks like. And now I had a customer who had stumbled upon FinalBend completely organically. They could be from any walk of life. They were not necessarily into one specific thing. They could be into anything. And the product that I had to simultaneously appeal to my new customer whose needs I actually didn't even know, and to the customers who I had and wanted to retain. So those were customers from back in 2018 who knew about athletics. They were into high performance gear. So this was kind of like a stumbling block, because how can you grow when your niche is like gone and you're now providing a product that doesn't appeal to your new niche? And in order to kind of fix that problem, because it did kind of become a problem where I couldn't I couldn't scale with a product that wasn't appealing to a new niche, but I didn't want to leave my old niche behind because that's where the business was built from, and that's what the business was essentially. So I ended up having to like answer a new question with, what is FinalBend? If it's not a very small athletics wear company, what is FinalBend? And I ended up answering that with, well, it's an affordable, sustainable athleisure wear brand, and it appeals to the girl who enjoys lifestyle. She enjoys wearing her fitness gear for lifestyle, for fashion. She enjoys a healthy lifestyle, and that's where the picture of this is Neve Travels, if you're on Instagram. She enjoys like a healthy lifestyle with traveling, and she wants to wear her athleisure wear up on hikes. Then there's the girl who enjoys the gym. So this was the gym heads who were interested in FinalBend because it was athletics wear. And then there was the girls who just wanted to wear FinalBend because they're supporting Irish. So all of a sudden now the product had to appeal to a whole host of different people that I had never even accounted for in creating the brand. A separate side issue with this was that no one understood what FinalBend meant on TikTok. On TikTok, FinalBend was actually Final Blend, and in their mind, Final Blend made more sense than FinalBend. And obviously that's because if you've happened upon a brand completely organically and you don't know anything about it, I don't think FinalBend would be like the first idea that will come into your mind. So we've struggled with the FinalBend versus Final Blend, and we're actually still struggling with it, to be fair. I've made a lot of videos on that. But yeah, so the main kind of stumbling block with scaling was that our niche was gone. Like, we had to find a new niche. And I'll talk a small bit about sustainability, because with finding a new niche, it was basically reinventing FinalBend. And whilst FinalBend the whole time along its journey had been affordable, and it had kind of, you could argue it was athleisure because athletes could wear it leisurely, it was the sustainability that I really wanted to make the new kind of forerunner, if you will, of FinalBend and of the FinalBend branding, because the sustainability aspect coupled with the affordability aspect was something that's new to the market. And I knew that then that could be the new selling point for FinalBend, so that the not so niche customer who had just happened upon it understood that this is something different. And yeah, that kind of brings it all full circle to where I am now. So before starting this call, I actually tested a theory, because whilst 2020 TikTok was completely different to 2022 TikTok, there's definitely this kind of content war that goes on, where you want to keep making the content that went viral for you before, but you also know that the people watching the content, which are your potential customers, are no longer interested in the content you made before. So one of the new theories then is that I think that content performs for me best is the speaking content. So before coming on the call, I posted a TikTok, and I'm just going to check up on it. So I think it's, you can see it's like the one that has the red writing there, and it had 4,000 views. So this one is now at 11,200 views. So it's slightly elevated above average, but it'll be interesting to see how this video goes for the next like 24 hours, because this type of video is not something I would have ever posted in 2020. It's a 3-minute video of me just talking about one topic, and it's the type of content now that is performing quite well on TikTok. It still hits the entertaining, inspirational, and like educational boxes. However, it's a completely different format of video, and that's been, again, a learning curve. But in order to continue to scale organically, obviously I want to continue to make content that appeals to people. So this type of content is what I'm currently testing. So like, if you have a brand and you want to start trying different types of content out, I would definitely suggest the 3-minute talking videos. And yeah, like, obviously there's a lot to be said about Reels versus TikTok, and more kind of like in-depth bits about TikTok analytics, but this is kind of like the very, very bare bones of my own story and where it kind of came from. So I'll open myself up now to some questions. If you have any questions literally about any part of the journey, I know it's been kind of like 2 or 3 years I've just like waved over. I would love to hear them, and you can like pop them into the chat. But other than that, thank you so much for hearing how I did my DIY marketing and went accidentally viral.
That was great, Emma. Thanks so much. Does anyone have any questions, guys? So Neo says, I see you have other social media channels.
Hi, sorry, I wasn't quick enough with typing. So so I see there are other social media channels for FinalBend, but do you prefer, Emma, you prefer TikTok rather than the others? Like, how do they compare, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so this is actually really interesting because it touches on what I just finished up with there, with the kind of new type of content creation. So with Instagram Reels versus TikTok, there's this power play between, they're both video content platforms now, and Instagram is pushing to become more of a video content platform. However, for me, I see Instagram Reels as an aesthetic platform. So the content that I would post on Instagram Reels is quite different to the content that I would post on TikTok. The content that performs well on Instagram Reels is quite aesthetic. It could be an outfit switch up. It's less so much about a story. It's more about the aesthetics of the video, because it plays into how Instagram has always been. Content that is aesthetic on Instagram performs better. However, on TikTok, I find that the kind of more organic, talking, showing like some snippet of your business, that will perform way better, and it wouldn't even be seen, from my opinion, on Reels. So I think while I don't shy away from posting on Reels, because I think it's actually quite good to have both platforms going at the same time, where I see the virality aspect really convert into a high number of web sessions is always on TikTok. I know I'm kind of still like waiting for the day that we've cracked the code on Instagram Reels and get a viral Instagram Reel. I think our closest is like 50,000 views. We didn't see that spike in web sessions. Whereas over on TikTok, you'll see it straight away. If that video goes onto the For You page and starts to get seen by a lot more people and shown to more people, you'll see those kind of conversions come through like almost real time. So I think it's almost the buzz of it that I enjoy more, but definitely I wouldn't shy away from Reels at all, or even feed posting on Instagram. Thanks for the question.
Emma, well done.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to pop a quick survey into the chat box here, guys. If everyone could fill that out, I'd be really grateful. It's just to keep our lunch and learns nice and informative. So Clodagh asked, how did the Late Late Show come about?
So with the Late Late Show, this was November 2021, and it actually ended up it being this really like fast-paced kind of coming about story, because I found out like 3 days before, and I found out when I was with my 2 best friends. We were all in the warehouse packing, because 2 days before that we had just launched a big collection, and I think a day before that collection launched, there was a TikTok video that went viral. So the orders on that collection were way elevated, and there was already a backlog in place when I got the call. And then fast forward to that Friday, there was an insane amount of people on the website. And what that kind of meant was there was an insane amount of packing to be done. But the whole experience was amazing. It was so much fun, and yeah, the aftermath was just like craziness. And also in the whole midst of that, the lights in the warehouse stopped working, so we were doing it by like flashlight. And yeah, the light stopped working. There was no floor down. There was like a whole heap of things that went wrong, but it was really good. Other than that.
I'm on mute. Never a dull moment in the startup. So Mark asked, how does YouTube compare?
For YouTube, I did test out YouTube briefly. I think the time commitment with creating YouTube is something that is hard to it's hard to put aside and say that's really valuable, like that's a valuable use of my time. Whereas making TikToks, you know, you can record a TikTok in 3 minutes if you want to. You can spend longer at it also if you want to. But with making videos on YouTube, although I love the platform and it's something that I always want to do, it's very hard just where I'm at right now to say like spending the 3 hours editing a YouTube video and then spending longer potentially filming a YouTube video to have it be seen by very realistically a few amount of people is hard to it's hard to put the time into that. However, shameless plug, my sister has a YouTube channel and she does very well off of it. And so I would argue that she could definitely afford the time to do it. But yeah, so Orla Coffey on YouTube. But yeah, the YouTube for me is something that will come, but just not yet.
Great. Does anyone have any other questions before we wrap up, guys? You can unmute if you like. No, I think that might be it. Thanks so much for your time today, Emma.